So today is February 16th, and I apologize for not posting anything for a while. I've mostly been sitting around thinking and redesigning stuff in my head and everything. So, but I have been making some progress. These are all the deck beams on the aft keel section. This is the forward keel part here. I've moved down to the side because there's no room now to have both of these set up anymore. So basically one has to go down into the side of the space while the other one's up on the sawhorses getting worked on. I have already cut all the deck beams for this forward keel section. They're all stacked against the wall over there, except for this one that I left out on the workbench just to show you what I've been doing. So these notch into the hull here like this. So they drop down like this, down into this space, and then there's a little notch on the bottom for this piece that they sit on. So the slot in the deck beams is basically this distance from the bottom of this piece up to here, and then the height I determined separately. So you can see the notch out here. One of the things that I've been thinking about and trying to figure out what it's going to do is my original thought on all these on the deck was basically just to have it flat and then gradually sloping forward, and then the water up forward, and then the water would all drain aft. But what I quickly realized when I did the math on that was that that result, to get the water to drain off any reasonable rate, you need at least like 1/4 of an inch a foot of slope, and that resulted in like 9 inches higher deck or so up forward compared to back here, because the boat's 32 feet long. That also depends on, the people standing, where I expect them to be standing instead of moving around. So if I want the water just to drain off almost no matter what, the best, easiest way, of course, is just to curve the deck this way. So that's what I did. So I've got a 45 millimeter, the center of these of each one of these beams is 45 millimeters higher in the center than it is out here at the edge. And I also, while I was doing that, decided to just add an extra 25 millimeters of height to these deck beams to get because if I've got the edge down there now a little bit closer to the water, I don't want water coming in through the scupper holes and getting people's feet wet as much, so just decided to go up an extra 25 millimeters while I was at it. So that's what's resulted essentially in this shape here. So this is the 25 millimeters plus the 45 in the middle, and then the aft or the corner out here is essentially level with the original height of the deck beams that I was going to do. And then I was very pleased with the way they all came out. You can kind of see they all lined up really, really well. Going down that way. If we put a straight edge on top of it, they're almost perfect. A couple of them are, slightly tilted one way or the other sideways, but that's just, that's easy to fix when I go to glue them into place. So, cutting these, if this is off, 2 millimeters here versus this one here, or a millimeter or so across, nearly 7 feet of width or something like that, that makes pretty big difference. But they all came out really well. Surprised how accurately that worked. So those are done. I did use up a bunch of scrap material, like you can see here. I had leftover scrap drops from the original pieces that I cut out for the hulls. For the regular parts at the very beginning of all this process, I had these extra bits that were about 270 millimeters wide or so. So I put them all in the table saw, cut them all down to 265 so that it'd have nice straight parallel edges. And then I took other scraps that I had laying around and basically glued them onto here. So you can see this piece wasn't quite long enough, so I glued another piece on here like that. So, and then what I'll do is I'll put a little bit of, I'll put some fiberglass over the top of this to reinforce it a bit more. But they're really pretty strong. I tried to break a couple of them, a couple of the cut off bits. So they're like little leftover bits like this. I'm gonna try to break those, and they're really pretty good. And yeah, so the way I do this when I'm butting things together is I put the epoxy on, let it soak into the edge, add some more, let that soak in, and then the thickener, the epoxy with some filler in it, and then put the two pieces together. And I was, for these, all these, I was using the Fast Cure hardener. So it was, you know, the first time you put it on, it basically sucks right in there. The second time, much less so. And then the third time, when put the thickened stuff on, it's really good. So you get a really excellent bond. It's not like a dry joint on there. What else I want to tell you? Oh yeah, so now that these are all in here, I needed extra space in the shop, so I basically took all the plywood and everything that I had stacked against the back walls over there, and I had to move that over here to this side of the shop. So that's all stacked over here roughly in the order which I expect to need each one of the pieces. So I'll work my way back, and then my extra stuff is back in here. So if I need extra pieces for something, that's in there too. Yeah, so that's about it. I am going to be, yeah, I should actually point this out. So I'm also going to be, so this, my original thought was to make these 6 feet, 1,800 millimeters wide here, but I decided to make the boat a little bit wider in the middle and then taper it back that way. That gives me both a little bit more stability, and I think hydrodynamically it's a little bit better too. So I'm going to be adding onto some of these pieces. By the time I came up with that idea, I hadn't made all of these, so I just made these plenty long enough, and then I can cut these and taper them down like that, and I'll just be adding on a little bit to these, and again reinforcing with some fiberglass. So making life a little bit more complicated for myself, but I think in the end it'll be a better boat for it. So thanks for watching.